Tomorrow, you'll get a taste of your medicine. Please don't go, 'cause without you I'm drifting. Give me time. I need some more. Our story's only beginning. Tomorrow you'll get a taste of your medicine. Tomorrow I'll disappear. Tomorrow I'm gonna lose myself with the rest of my dreams. Tomorrow, and by the time that I'm gone, maybe then you'll notice me.
And happy Sunday, everybody. Oh my goodness. And I didn't even check my camera before I turned it on, and it's all screwed up, but that's all right. We're used to it by now. A little warm here today. Sun is going full blast, which we'll see when we get to the pictures here. Got about 9 or so dogs today. So we had a pretty good turnout. Not too bad. We had one a little bit shy. A little bit shyer than we like anyway, but that happens. These animals get in the shelter scared as hell. They don't know what's going on. So, you know, you pull them out of the shelter and they have no idea where they're going or what we're trying to do. But, you know, we just try to get some good pictures for them, get them some good marketing materials, send that off to other volunteers to help market these guys and get them good homes. That's the whole goal. So we are going to do our best to get some pictures out of this and see what we can do with it. So as always, we start off grouping all of our puppies together into stacks. So we are going to do that first. We don't have any puppies in here with us today. And the puppy's cam is on, but it's empty. So we'll probably add it. Actually, as a matter of fact, we'll just turn that off for now if I can find button. There we go. No need to have that on right now. One of them may join us. They're going to be eating here before long, so they're always up in arms about feeding time anyway. Let's see. Group those together. And keep on keeping on. Super. Some really young dogs this week. Really sweet. I know we were getting a little bit behind on the pictures when we had that vacation and we had something else come up, so we missed. I think 2 weeks in a row we missed. And we're one of 2 teams that does this for the shelter. And they also had some stuff going on, so we got pretty far behind, but we're just about caught up now. But they're always dogs coming in, way more than I like to see, for sure. Quite a few small ones this week too. Some little terriers and chihuahuas and poodles and quite a few smalls. And they always seem to go quicker. I don't totally get it. I mean, we are large dog people ourselves. But, you know, people, I say people, I know I'm generalizing here. Many people talk about like big dogs, Dobermans and pit bulls and things like that. Like they're some kind of monsters. You want a monster, get a Chihuahua. Then you'll have a monster. And I don't know if people just have never owned another breed or the ones that think that anyway. But I tell you, they can be some real territorial turds right there. But I mean, they are adorable, of course. Let's get our settings put on here. And we are, of course, using our Tamron 7200. And we need to go in a 1x1 for our app. I say for the app, these don't actually go in the app, the kennel cards, but for the sake of consistency, make them the same size anyway. So this is Luna, really shy, as usual. You don't get too many dogs that are really confident in the shelter. You just don't. They don't know what's going on. And I of course had to play a lot. The sun was full blast, so depending on where the dog ended up, I had to jack with mostly shutter speed, a little bit of aperture here and there, but mostly shutter speed, just to pull everything in. No, that's a really sharp picture. Really adorable. It's not a bad face shot. See what else we have to work with here. Hey, Impoverish, how's it going, buddy? I like that one better. It looks like flash didn't go off on this one. It's pretty much the same shot, so we're gonna pull that off there. Man, I've been using that for a body shot. I don't know, or that one. I like this as a face shot. Let's see if we can pull it down some. Music a little loud. Paste those on there. I'm going to auto that in and see what it comes. Yeah, that did pretty good. I'm going to crop that down. What shutter you usually shoot at with your 7200? It totally depends on the lighting. Because I really, for the dogs, I really like to stay around a 5.6 aperture. So I'll adjust my shutter speed accordingly. But typically, if I get down around 80 or less, it's really hard to get a really good focus shot. So you gotta you gotta combine your subject with your shutter speed and the light. So those three things kind of work in a group. And you just got to figure out what works best for your situation. If your subject's not moving much and you got a really good steady shot, you can really drop that shutter speed down in order to open that aperture up if you need, if it's really bright out. It's really, you just got to kind of read the situation. I'll do that again. It should pull it down. Actually, I pulled it up. Take those highlights down a little more. Yeah, it's better. So it's totally situational. It just really depends on what you need from what you're doing. I get a lot of blurry shots because I really try to keep that 5.6 aperture. So sometimes I really got to turn that shutter speed down, especially if it's overcast. Face shot, body shot. I kind of liked this one. Let's see if we can make it work. One day we're gonna get this app to not be in a 1:1 aspect ratio. Seems like when I have to squat or when I'm not staying square on my feet, then your focus goes out. Yeah, it's just a practice thing. Sometimes I do it subconsciously. If I'm really having issues with a really movie subject or something, I'll actually hold my breath when I tuck your elbows and hold your breath. I do that sometimes. I do it subconsciously. I can make myself lightheaded when I shoot a lot, just not even paying attention to it. Except it's just a matter of practicing it. Have a gut. Yeah, they can tend to get in your way. But yeah, it's just a practice thing. In theory, many people say you should be able to shoot as low as a 60th of a second handheld and not have a problem. It's a little touch and go. I think it really depends. Like if you've just had coffee or caffeine in general, that can jack with you. If you're fatigued, that can mess with you too. Feel like it puts you off balance. Well, just run a higher shutter speed. If you can, just run a higher shutter speed. And, if you need to open up your aperture a little bit for that, then do that. It beats getting a blurry photo because you can't fix blurry, but you can generally pull your lights and darks. As long as that's not too crazy. What am I going to use for... I'm going to try this. I don't think we blew anything out there. No, I didn't. Yeah, we did too. Maybe we'll try this one instead. Couple different body shot pictures. And auto that out. Yeah, it's not bad. I saw you were live. Thank you for streaming photos. I was heading to the store. Yeah, every Sunday, 3 o'clock. I say every Sunday. Some Sundays stuff happens. Of course, I always put that on Twitter if something comes up. But that's my goal every Sunday. This is our... Oh, I don't know. We've probably done about 20 of these now. We've done a lot. So, we like doing it for the puppies. And I gotta do it anyway. It is, however, slower when I stream it. It takes me longer. Because, of course, chatting and talking through the process and whatnot. But that's alright. I don't mind sharing the love. Maybe get some other people interested in doing it for the animals as well. This is Buddy. Buddy was either up and all over the place or down. So he was either up and all over, like that's a terrible, it's blurred and everything else because he was just everywhere. And if he wasn't, he was down on the ground. So it takes some work sometimes to get him to come around. I don't like that. That one's okay. That one's probably better. Let's try that. I'm gonna have to lighten it up quite a bit. It's always tricky in full sunlight with a white dog. Cause like here I've got a backdrop of greenery, and it's all alongside of a building. It's direct sun. I'm almost opposite the sun from the subject, and they get that white glaring off of them. And you know, here I didn't get a blowout, but I come very close. But you can see on my darks here, did I lose any? A little bit. I lost a little bit of my dark. So it really takes some finagling to not lose everything or get one or the other lost. I'm going to crop this hard, and I hope this still looks all right. I hope. I'm not too happy with that. There's so much contrast in that picture though. I don't know that there's another way around it. Because the highlights are already down, so I can't really bump my exposure. I'm gonna try anyway. Bump that a little, bump those down a little bit, turn down that contrast a little. It's alright. I'm not super happy with it. Man, there's just so much contrast there. Do we actually get a body shot of him? Yeah, that one's not too bad. Again, white dog, really dark background, and like I said, this dog was either all over or on the ground, so I was just kind of taking a picture however I could get it or wherever I could get it. It's not too often you actually get to take the picture you want. Not with the animals. Not how we shoot anyway. I mean, if I was to take an entire day and set everything up, I probably could, but it's just not a reasonable expectation, I don't think, to do that. But this is what you get whenever. Now, it would have been better had I taken these about 2 hours earlier, because the shadow for this dog is headed this way right here. So the sun is top left, probably about 11 o'clock, and so it's a little high. So you get some of that light wrap around the top of them. But if I would have been there earlier, you would have got less wrap, and it would have looked even better. So that's why, you know, if you don't have some light overcast, it's very hard to do this during the day. We're gonna go ahead and do that one. One body shot, face shot, and now we need some sort of personality shot. Looks like we got Gracie in here with us, though she's not laying down. I think she's wanting to let rain out. Our foster, if you've been here before, you know that we were fostering another Great Dane from the shelter. We had hopes that the foster would really get along with the other dogs and play with Jackson, because he really needs a dog his size to play with. And she's unfortunately as a potential adoption for us, it's not going to be reasonable, because her and Gracie doesn't get along. They don't get along at all. Not like try to really hurt each other kind of way, but they don't do well together. So unfortunately, we'll probably be getting her out to a rescue so she can find a nice home where she'll be probably the only dog. She's a very dominant female, and she'd probably do better as an only dog in the home. And she's our fourth, so not gonna work, unfortunately. But she's so sweet. She's gotta have her way. If not, she gets grumpy. You know, I think we're gonna go with that one just because I think it's cute. It definitely says his personality. He was really nice and sweet, but he just he was very nervous, as most of them are. Yeah, you can't stress out the other pups. Yeah, it's, I don't know. We've had Grace now for about 2.5 years, and she is prey driven. So she will go on and bark. She'll chase little lizards around the yard, or frogs, or whatever. If she sees an armadillo or something, she'll bark at them and kind of, won't go crazy, but you can tell she's prey driven. But other than that, as far as any little quirks about her, but she is one of the best dogs. If I had mentioned this to the wife before, if I had the ambition, the time, and the money to do it, and I thought it was a reasonable thing to do, which in the current state pets are, I don't, but I would make her a breed. She's a Great Dane Blackmouth Cur mix, and she is one of the sweetest dogs we have ever had. She is just a doll, and we love her to death, and I don't want her to be uncomfortable here. And with our new foster, she's very uncomfortable in the same room with her, and we don't want that. We don't want that. What am I looking for here? Not that. Here's what I'm looking for, some greens. And then pull some of those yellows out of there. I don't know why that one was so yellow. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, but like I said, it's a shame because she has to spend most of her time in her kennel. Because it is Gracie's house, and I feel bad for her because she really wants to come out. She wants the attention, and she's super sweet with people. She acts just like a Dane, but she can't be with the other dogs, unfortunately. But she is putting weight on. She was 115 when we got her, and we've had her a week and a half, and she's put on about 4 pounds. It's a lot of weight, but she wasn't eating. Wherever she was before, she wasn't getting fed, which is sad, but now she is, and now hopefully she's at least happy or happier. She'll be even happier when she can get somewhere in a home with a family that can let her play and be herself. She deserves it. She's had it pretty rough. This is Nelly. He was such a cool puppy. Little scared, but beautiful. Beautiful colors. Super sharp. I'm gonna get a really good, I got quite a few face shots of him. I want to get a really good expression for that adorable face. That one I don't like at all. I'm going to take that off. That one's blurry. Better make sure I got another body shot. Okay, I got a bunch. Before I kill it, there's that submissive head down. I try not to, like, even the dogs when they're like this, I don't like using pictures like this of the dogs because this is not the dog. This is a dog in a shelter environment that has no idea what's going on. They're not confident, they're not comfortable, and they're not very happy. And when people see these kind of things like, oh, well, they're scared. Well, hell yeah, they're scared. They're in a shelter. But you get them home, give them a week or two to adjust, and you'll see a whole different dog. Whole different dog. I don't know if I'm being overzealous with sharpness. I look at the eyelids and eyes seem kind of soft. It bothers me. Yeah, and the tail's tucked, and a lot of them are. Well, if you're getting the eyelid sharp and not the eyes, then you're front focusing too far or running too shallow of aperture. Because that, I mean, you're talking, not even a 1/4 inch difference in depth. I usually focus on the eye in general, and your hold tolerance there is probably not much more than 1/8 of an inch. So if you're having trouble right there, you're probably running too tight of an aperture, or too big of an aperture. You need to open it up a little, give it some room. Especially if your subject moving. That's another big deal. What am I going to use for the face shot? I think I'm going to use this one. Yeah, I mean, even running a 5.6 here, looks like I backed focus a little bit. He might have stuck his head forward a little bit, but his eyes are just a touch soft, and his nose is soft, but the leash is fairly sharp, so the focus is right about on the top of his head here. But you can get that with moving subjects all the time. Like I said, it's just a matter of repetition and practice. You just got to keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting. And with the digital age now, hitting the delete button is easy. I remember one of my models telling me once, it was the first time he had shot with me, and he says, because I asked him, I said, how was the experience? Did you enjoy yourself? Did you have fun with it? Was there anything you'd like to do differently, or that you really enjoyed? And he said, well, the only thing I really found different is that you take a lot of pictures. And I said, well, I feed off the model, and that's how I shoot. I shoot in conjunction with the model. I don't tell the model unless I'm supposed to, unless the job requires it, which it generally doesn't. But I let them do their thing, and then I photograph as they're doing their thing, trying to catch all the key moments. And he said that, I'd taken a lot of pictures. I said, well, hitting the delete button's easy. When you were back in film, no, it wasn't that easy. But with digital age, you could need one shot and take 1,000 pictures, if that's what you need to do. Just don't be afraid to click the button. And but also kind of pay attention to what you're doing as you're clicking the button, so that when you do find something you like, you can take a look. Well, what was my aperture? What was my shutter speed? How was I standing? How was I holding it? Where was the light? What was the subject doing? Take all those things into consideration, and then learn from that and move forward. And I'm not the greatest by any means, but that's how I kind of refine my photography, is by teaching myself, seeing what I like in the picture. Not everybody's taste is the same. They're somewhat in line, but not everybody's taste is the same. But you just got to figure out what you like in your work and be consistent. Find what you like and stick with it. You are not going to please everybody. It's not going to happen. If, some of these mainstream photographers, they'll shoot whatever, whenever, however, 50 different styles. It doesn't matter. You want it, they'll shoot it. And that's great if that's what they want to do. Myself, I shoot a specific style, and that's what I do. And people that don't want that style, they go to another photographer that does their style. People that want my style come to me for my style. Now, of course, these dog photos are a little different because it's a whole different context and different topic. But I've been using low continuous on single shot with 3 frames. Low continuous on single shot. I'm not sure I follow you there. That may be something with your camera. I may not know some setting. Unless I am shooting action, I'm always single shot. Sometimes if I'm like at a family function or a small event, a small gathering, I might use, a slow continuous. I never shoot high continuous. I'm not a sports photographer. I don't have a need for it. I don't care to photograph something like that. I'm not out trying to capture hummingbirds flapping their wings or something. That's just not what I do. There's amazing stuff out there though. But my equipment's not set up for that. I'm not particularly good at it. It's just something I leave for the other people. But everybody's each their own. Whatever you like is what you should be doing. When for me, when I'm doing my photography work, my art, should I say, not just shooting, like for instance with the dogs, but when I'm doing my art and I take my pictures, I'm trying to create a sort of a story in the picture. Sometimes it works, more often than not it doesn't. But then when I'm looking at them, I find the pictures that make me feel or see something. Those are the ones that I work on and I put in my portfolios. Those are the ones that I enjoy. And it doesn't mean everyone will. You're not going to please everybody, especially if you're doing your own style. So don't try to. I mean, unless that's just your ambition is to make everybody happy, you're going to go crazy trying to do that. I might unfortunately use that as the body shot because that seems to be the better one. I like her posture better. I wish her head wasn't turned all the way around, but that's what we have to work with. So, man, those yellows. I had the same problem last time with the yellows just going nuts. Not sure why. I don't know if it's just a lot of that dead grass and then that sun blaring and body shot. I think we'll use this for a personality shot. Paste settings. Thank you. And I don't, and when I'm doing things like this for the dogs, I don't kill myself trying to make everything perfect. Like you can see here, you see how crooked the camera was. Like in this particular setting, like I said, you kind of just gotta take what you can get when you can get it. And I might have been adjusting or something, and I finally see him sit down or do something or look in a way that'll make a decent picture, and I'm just click trying to get it. And so that's why I end up with some of the goofy ones. But they usually work out. The camera's good enough to save my butt a lot of the time. Did I auto that? No, I didn't. It's like, that looks awful dark. Yeah, I think that's all right. Yep, that'll do it. On a Canon, there's a low continuous or high speed continuous. I keep thinking I might be better off using a 7200 because my hands are so shaky. I mean, if the camera's really heavy, that can contribute to not having very good control over it. You can YouTube hand-holding shots. There's a lot of advice and tutorials and stuff out there to help you get a little better at it. But like I said, you just kind of got to keep doing it, and you'll find your own little techniques to help you out. Putting your elbows up against your body is a huge help. Pulling your whole body in, like so your arms, because it's easier to shake your whole arm than it is just half your arms. So that's part of it. You can kind of hold your breath if that helps. It really just depends on you and what works for you. Like I said, there's a lot of great tutorial videos out there for it too. image stabilization. I mean, yeah, they've come a long way with that, and it definitely helps and makes a big difference, but it doesn't solve everything, and especially if you're shooting at a very big distance, or you're shooting at a very high or very low aperture, because aperture doesn't play as big. It's it kind of all stacks together. So if you're not getting enough focus shots and your subject's not all over the place, bump your shutter speed until you get, like a 90% rate on sharpness. And just use that. And then just keep shooting and practicing with it, and then slowly creep it down as you get better with it. It's just a matter of practice. Lots of pictures. I don't think did we even get a face shot. There's one sort of. I don't like the light there. I think I'm gonna go with this. I like the light better there. It's a little less distracting. Now see, I did paste settings here. I don't know why Lightroom does this, but it really gets under my skin. I hit paste settings here. It even says in my history paste settings. It did not paste the settings. Because if it did, it would be a 1x1 right now. I don't know why Lightroom does that. See, now it says I did it twice, which, okay. Little unnerving having to do things twice. This was Kamka. She was really nice too, really sweet. Big shot. And here's that real attractive background. Not. But she didn't really want to move. She was okay on a leash, but she still wasn't a fan. She would still freak out a little bit when it got taut. Super sharp though. Do what again? I lagged. I don't know. It depends on what the topic was. I actually said quite a bit. The moral of the story is if you're having problems with keeping with camera shake, practice. Find a technique that works and practice. And if yours doesn't work, YouTube, Google, find other techniques, try those. That's the only thing you can do. There's no magic bullet. Shoot on a tripod, you could do that. But unfortunately, there's just no magic answer. You said you did something twice. Oh, it was pasting my settings. When I paste the settings over, so I don't have to constantly redo them on every picture, it had history on there twice when it didn't even paste it. So I was just complaining like I usually do when it does that. Face shot, body shot. That's the same shot as the other one, honestly. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do this. That's sharp. I wonder if I got an idea here. I got an idea. can I do this? There we go. There's a lot of pictures in a background that I hated, so there's no sense in using up several hundred megs of disk space for it. But yeah, like most people, when I say most people, most photographers or educators more so on the internet or elsewhere, there's some really great information out there, but because it's not an academic sort of setting, you got to kind of treat it like you would the news. Take the information and use it, apply it to, use it accordingly. Get different opinions, find out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Just because it works for this person doesn't mean it's going to work for you. If you see something you like and then you see somebody that explains how they did what you like, try it. Then change it up, add to it, mix it up. Try things you wouldn't normally do. I've discovered several interesting techniques by doing things that I wouldn't normally do. I never would have thought I would use a little snoot with a grid, but I have, and it came out really cool. And now I know if I want that particular look, I know how to get it. So just try things out. Never be afraid to try. Like I said, deleting a digital image is easy. It is easy to delete them. Don't feel like you have to save and edit every picture you take. That's a ridiculous expectation. A lot of new photographers, I've heard and read a lot about it. So I know a lot of newer people will do that. They'll shoot, they need, I don't know, let's just say for instance, 3 headshots from a photo session. They'll take 50 pictures, they'll edit 35 of them and give their client 20 of them to choose from 3. Don't do that. You're the photographer. You choose, if you want to give them like a couple of options, fine. Give them, if they needed 3, give them 5. And only edit 5. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Because most people, unless they are it's a commercial job or they're models, they are not going to know what a good picture is. I'm sorry to say. They're only going to see what they like. The more you give them, the worse their decisions get. You don't need to do that. There's no reason to do it. You're not going to piss them off by giving them less photos to pick from. You don't tell them there's 20. Tell them there's 5. You can pick 3, and they will gladly do that. You don't need to do all that. You're spending a lot of time. I mean, unless you're just learning something with them, and that's fine. But don't turn around and present those to the client. That's my advice anyway. Because it's, one of the most valuable things you have as a human being is time. Whether you decide to do that in your own endeavors or with your job or whatever, but your time is the most valuable commodity you have. That's so cute. So don't squander it doing a bunch of stuff you don't need to do. And that goes with everything, not just photography. That's super cute. I love that picture. No, don't delete it. I wanted it a 1, not a delete. In very different places. I do, however, want to straighten it out a little. And I think I went too far. That's better. Love that picture. That's just adorable. And I even think it's got a little blowout on it. No, it doesn't either. It almost does right here. At that, again, this is, you can see where the shadow is in the dog. The sun here is about not quite noon. But you can see it's coming across here, but I'm opposite. The sun's behind him. That gives him that rim light. And that's what really makes a lot of pictures look great. Go get a face shot out of this. He had such a cute face too. Oh, Eyes closed. Eyes open. We did get a flash. And I know this is probably hiccuping a little bit on stream. These photos take so much resources, and I'm doing this all streaming and everything on the same machine. So that's what we got. I think we are going to go with this one. See, it did it again. See, it says right there in history, paste settings. It did not paste the settings. Unless it's pasting them somewhere else that I don't know about. Which is entirely possible. Man, I got that dark spot on top. I was gonna say I'd turn that and you never know, but since the grass up there does, such an adorable, it was so adorable. Holy cow. Well, that's not gonna work though. That will pull those eyes up a little bit. It was so cute. Alright, face shot, personality shot. We need a body shot. Man, and the shadows are still a little dark. But my highlights are almost all the way down, so yeah, that's what we got. Another turn shot. Looks like what I'm getting. But here again, white dog, black background. There's just not an easy answer. I just played it in the middle of the road. Here I'm using a 400 shutter speed at 5.6. to knock those, you know, just to not clip the highlights, but you can see how dark the background is. But when I looked at the information, I wasn't losing any black either. So, because I have a histogram on the back of the camera I usually use when I'm, especially when I'm doing a situation like this. So I actually got all the information, believe it or not. So that helps a ton. And those yellows again in that one. Don't have too much of it here. It's not as bad. I don't like the grass to be super green. That may sound bad, but to me it detracts from the picture because your eyes kind of go to the brightest thing on the photo, and that green really seems to catch attention. Not too bad there. Not the greatest shot, but as you can see, the majority of what he wanted to do when he got out there was just be scared and lay down. And I really don't need a bunch of the same shot here. It's actually not a bad shot. Keep that. I was going to delete it, but that's not usable. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sunny. Develop settings. Pace settings. She is down there. if I can get her on the picture. You're just gonna see a bunch of table. Yeah, a little bit there. She is such a sweetheart. Really, couldn't ask for a better dog. At least we couldn't. Yeah, her and Rain, which is the new adopted the foster that's here. My wife was in the floor and she was giving them both attention, because we always try, especially when you bring a new dog in the house, anytime the new dog is together with the other dogs, we always try to make it a great experience for all of them. So then they associate the fact that they're together with good things. So anytime they're all together, everything's happy and good. And it was going great, and then, I don't know, Gracie looked at her wrong or something, and they started growling and nipping. It wasn't pretty. Nothing I care to see, so. I think there was something wrong with this guy's tail, because it was like he was trying to wag it, but he couldn't. And if you, that's not what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do. You can see from his tail, it's got this funny bend in it right here. I almost think it wouldn't move. That part of it wouldn't move. It's because at first, and that's one of the ways you can usually tell when you approach a dog in a kennel whether or not they're going to be okay with you, is if their tail's wagging and they seem like they're going to be alright with it. Well, he was standing there, but he was looking, but his tail wasn't wagging. So it always makes me a little leery at first. But come to find out, he couldn't. So, do we have another? There we another face shot candidate. Oh, that's kind of cute. That's not good and sharp though. Because I really liked the other shot is maybe on the third one. What am I going to use for the face shot then? Try this one. Not the hugest fan, but I want this other one for the third shot. So, body shot. Did I lose whites there? I did. Lost some whites there too. A little bit there. Let me see if I can get away with it though, because I kind of like the shot. Ugh, that looks like crap. Hmm. I think that'll work. Yep, that's good. Not the biggest fan. But that's what we have, so that's what we're using. Okay, and that one that I wanted to use is a third shot. What's this one? And, you know, like everything else, this is mostly to taste. I try not to go too crazy on these, but because they go out low res anyway, and actually, even by the time I post them, some of them are already adopted. So, but you never know who, so we do it anyway. And it still puts them in the system. So if they ever unfortunately end back at the shelter, they'll have updated good photos for them. Olive, this poor girl, she's been there almost 3 months. She came in with a terrible skin condition and puppies. She was used as, I am certain she was used in a puppy mill. She had to be. This poor thing. When we first saw her, you know, sometimes if I or the wife doesn't feel like it would be a good time to take a picture of a dog, if it's either for maybe they've got a temporary condition or if they're just not feeling it. And we walked up to this kennel where she was at and looked at her, and I knew a little bit about her history. My wife did not. And I said, what do you think? All right, we'll take pictures, because she still doesn't have the greatest fur. It's still all coming in. She's like, I don't know. She's still got a skin condition. And I was like, but she's been here for almost 3 months. This girl needs a home. So we decided to take them. She's really nice, really sweet. Her fur is still coming in. She had a really bad skin condition for a long time. That is blurry as crap. Now, because she's black, I had to play a little more with the shutter speeds. I'm down at 125th of a second here, and you can see I got blur. She was super pacey, super movie. I was shooting, trying to get something. I'm not going to delete those yet because I don't know what all we have to work with, and we may end up having to use something. Oh my gosh, that's just awful. It's a good shot. It's a little bit soft. Hey, we actually got one in focus right there. I like this one a little better, but so we'll keep that in mind. That's just gone. Eyes closed and blurry. We don't have a lot to work with here. Oh my gosh, did we actually get a face shot? No, not really. I mean, there's worse in there. I'm gonna try this one because it's probably about one of the best ones we got. Develop, paste. Yeah, it's all right. Stuart Kirby, how's it going? Does that say 1/100th or 1/800th? The shutter speed? This is 1/100th on these. I guess she was black. So trying to not lose the blacks and then deal with the moving subject, it was a lot more misses on her than hits for sure. Yeah, well, like I said, it's a matter of her being all black and sticking around a 5.6 aperture. Just running a slower shutter speed, and you'll click. I don't know if you photograph animals, specifically ones like in a shelter condition where they're generally really nervous and pacey. You try to catch what you can catch and hope that you can get something out of it. Some dogs are really chill and they'll lay back and it's easy to shoot them. Some dogs not so much. Some dogs are they're non-stop moving and moving and moving and moving. Let's see, face shot. Still need a body shot. Do we even get one of her? That's awful. That one's not very good either, but it's better. Not real happy with it. Didn't really get a full body shot of her. So what can we use instead? Maybe we'll use that instead. It's a pretty good posture. Well, we didn't get her feet in there, but I think it'll be all right. I don't run ISO over 100 in the daylight. I don't like what it does to the picture. Some people might have a different preference for it, but me, I won't go over 100 unless I have a really, really great reason to do so. And we shoot so many photographs of these dogs every Sunday that if I had to super fine tune every picture, we would be there all day. And it's just, we did 9 dogs today, I think. We typically do 10 a day, which is roughly anywhere from 10 to 12 photos per dog. So, it still takes a while. And we also have limited space on location, and you have dogs, some are white, some are black. So, I kind of just play in the middle so we can get through them pretty quick. Yeah, I know. I've been editing pictures for quite a while. I definitely appreciate the feedback, though. But my experience with my setup and my camera, I can probably run 600 really easy. I just don't, because I will randomly end up with shots that I can't do anything with at all. So, what's the Nikon? This is a D810 that I'm using. I think I'm going to use that shot because I kind of like the stance on it. I like the way she's headed. I don't like that I don't have her feet in it. But the fact that she's not standing still for any of these at all. And there wasn't really a lot of contrast either. I would have had to, like, if I caught, and this is probably what happened here, I probably caught focus on this white to black that gave the camera something to look at for the focus on it. But other than that, there's not a lot of contrast in here for it to grab a focus on. So that's also stacked against us. So let's see what we can do here. That's not too terrible. As you can see, her fur is still coming in. She was looking kind of rough, and you can also see her, well, kind of. It's a little zoomed in a little far, but she's had so many puppies, this poor girl, and she's really sweet. She was fairly nervous, but she was really sweet, and she really needs a home. And that's why I was just insistent on getting her pictures today. She's been passed several times. We've been kind of waiting for her to start looking a little healthier, which she is healthy. It's just a matter of everything kind of growing back in. But she is definitely getting there. I'll pull those yellows down again a little bit. I just don't like so much yellow in it. There we go. So we got that one. Yeah, 5.6 is pretty much all my dog's photos for the shelter shoot anyway. I always use 5.6. It tends to give me more of the photos that I think are decent and usable for what I do and where they go. So that's what I use. Alright, headshot, body shot. We need something else. What else do we have that we can use here? Actually, that one's not bad. It's fairly sharp. I really like the depth of field on that as well. Let's try that. Paste those on. I don't want to crop that. That's not bad. And I'm going to pull those yellows out again a little bit. Yeah, that one will work. All right, 3 shots there. She was so sweet. That poor thing. I really hope she gets a home soon. I know all of her puppies have been adopted out. So she's pretty much there by herself now. And she's been fixed. So I don't have to worry about her getting out there and getting pregnant again. Somebody else doing that to her. Alright. And we have here Ariel. Another one looked pretty scared. Really sweet. Younger. How old was she? 9 months. Yeah, 9 months old. Really unique color as well. Very pretty. Did not like the camera at all. I didn't get the shots, but basically after the first couple of shots, she would come up and just bury her head in my wife's legs and sit there. And if my wife would move back, she'd just come up and do it again. She was just freaked out. Poor thing. Poor thing. Beautiful. Sharp. Just gorgeous. And such a pretty color too. Beautiful. I don't know. I have a thing for the fawn colored animals. Dog. Most of well, Jackson's not fawn color. He's brindle. But our other 2 dogs are fawn and our foster is fawn. So they're all brown. But, you know, some of that's by coincidence actually, because all of our dogs are rescues. It's a county shelter. There is no county no-kill shelter. I say no-kill. That's kind of black and white and something that is a very gray area. I can't think, and I may be wrong, but I can't think of any animal shelter anywhere that wants to euthanize animals. Nowhere. People use it as a political platform sometimes to make them try to get votes or people on their side or persuade people for one thing or another. But since working at the shelter and volunteering at the shelter and with a lot of other rescues, I can tell you nobody wants to see an animal euthanized. Ever. Ever. Nobody does. Sometimes you don't have a choice. Either the animal can't be rehomed to aggressive, something of that nature. They've got a condition that's irreversible. They're in pain or suffering. I can't think of an instance where a dog has ever been put down just because. I can't, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm sure somewhere it did. But as far as I know, it has never happened at this shelter or any shelter or rescue that I've been affiliated with. But you know, it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. But if if you're actively involved and not politically motivated in a shelter and rescue process, whether it's dogs, cats, livestock, whatever, the kill no kill thing, it's just a podium for people to stand on, honestly. Nobody wants to put animals down. At all. What a beauty. But these dogs at the shelters, ooh, that one's blurry, is, you know, when you go to a shelter or a rescue or a place where dogs where the dogs are kind of they're in a chaotic environment with a lot of weird noises and smells, they don't know what's going on, they're going to be scared shitless. They're going to be either super scared or super defensive. So you never actually get to see the real personality of the dog, unfortunately. That's just nuts. At the shelter, and there was a family in the other day, yesterday, and there was a dog they were interested in, and the dog, it wasn't that the dog was shy. He was a little bit scared and a little timid, but not to the point of like curling up in a ball. He just wasn't super jumping around like a puppy, and they didn't want to adopt him because of it. And, you know, I tried to explain to them, I was like, well, at our shelter anyway, there's a 10-day period. If you take an animal, you have 10 days. If for some reason they're not working out in your home, you can bring them back. No questions asked. Maybe try a different pet or whatever. We would rather everybody be happy than try to put a dog in a bad home or vice versa. So, but they still, you know, I was like, take him home, let him get comfortable, and then see if he works. And they just still really didn't want to. It's unfortunate because he needed a home. But, you know, I like that shot too. You can do what you do. Try to get them all, as many of them in homes as quickly as possible. Home and that are rescues. There's a lot of rescues that come and pull these dogs as well. Such a unique color. I didn't really get a face shot though, because I didn't like the camera. That's like the only face shot I have, so I'm gonna have to use that. Yep, gonna have to. My dog was left for dead in January 2012, wound up in a abandoned no-kill, loads of issues, but after a lot of love and help, he's a different little booger. I took him home second day. In most cases, that's all a dog needs is a chance. This goes for cats. Well, a lot of cats. I'm not as much of a cat person. I do work with a lot of cats at the shelter, but specifically I say this with dogs because I don't know a lot about cat personalities and how they recover from things. But with dogs, once they distrust things, it's hard to get them back to being confident in themselves and getting their esteem back up and getting them comfortable. But when you can do it, totally different animals. Most of the time, all they need is a chance. They need somebody to give them the time and attention that they need to get better. And they will, and they'll surprise you. And we have a huge love for dogs here in our household. For me, it's an amazing relationship between people and dogs. You know, I can't think of another species, another breed of animal that would willingly give their life to protect you. That in itself to me is just an amazing thing. And you know, that kind of unconditional love, in my opinion, you can't get that any other way. Most people aren't even capable of that. So. Spent 900 pounds operation on his leg. It's not cheap. It's not. And that's unfortunate as well. We do have a low-cost clinic at our shelter for people that have difficulty paying for services and getting spays and vaccinations. So, and that just opened up recently. So that's been a huge help, and they've been really busy too. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because more are getting taken care of. It's a bad thing because it costs a lot of money to keep that going when we could be doing even more outreach programs and things with the money. So, you know, what do you do? I think this was the better place to spend it. Mind me, he's due for his updates. Yeah, we have one of ours is too. We need to get that taken care of as well. I stay so busy, and the wife does, that we're about to get behind if we don't get on it. face shot. Yeah, body shot. Which one do I like? I don't like that. That one's not bad. I don't like you can't see his tail in that one. Let's see if this one will fit in the 1x1. How do I want to play this? Do I actually want to try straightening it out? We'll try. We'll see what it looks like. Sometimes when you try to straighten them out if they're shot too much of an angle, it can do some funny stuff. But that's not bad. That's not too bad. Actually, that autoed okay. Pull those greens and yellows down a little bit. Such a cool color though. There's a little bit of white marbling in his fur. It was the coolest thing. It was such a doll. Tried using a longer lens? Have I? Or are you saying you've tried a longer lens? Body shot, face shot. Just need kind of our pick now. One we like. That one's really of no use. That one we're using. Don't really have another favorite. I do I like the light here. I like the fall off across the cheek. I think it's really good. It's not super high contrast. Let's see if we can grab something cute out of this. Of course, how can you not grab something cute? This adorable little muffin. Exposure back up. Drop those shadows back down because I like that contrast between the two. And pull those yellows down a little bit. Drop the greens down a little bit. Oh, I think that works just fine. I like it. Face shot, body shot. Was that all those? It was. So now we get to go through and remove a bunch of leashes. All right. I use the 70-200 Tamron. My favorite go-to lens. I use it for 90% of my work. These were mostly, it really depends on the dog, whether they're close to me, far away. Again, it's not a trained environment. It's definitely not a studio environment. So the dogs kind of do their thing, and I only have so much room to work with. So I shoot at varying ranges. 150, no, thank you. I would never have a 150-600. That's too much variance in depth of field or your focal range there. And my experience with focal ranges of that range is they don't give me the image quality I like. At least not at a price that I want to spend. So the 70-200 does everything I like. I don't do wildlife or anything, so I don't really 200. It's typically plenty for me. All right, face shot. Remove this. Now the stream is probably going to hiccup a little bit as we do this because I'm going over and I'm editing these in Photoshop, so it's got to pull all the data over and render it into Photoshop. So you can get a little bit of hiccups. Shot the newer ones a lot sharper than the older ones. I haven't shot any newer ones. So the old ones just kind of tainted me for image quality. Like I said, I've never. The only time I've ever would like to have something accessible over 200 is if I was like outdoors in my yard or something, and I happened to see a bird that looked really cool, and I wanted to take a picture of them, and I just couldn't quite do that without switching to DX mode, and even then I wasn't super happy with it. But that is so rare of a thing that it's just not. For me, the expense isn't really worth it. I still love this tool. So this is going to be an interesting edit here. Mine got dropped, managed to make the image sharper and better bokeh. So dropping it helped the image quality? That's kind of cool in a scary sort of way. Yeah, that's, you know, that's good. Nice. Yeah, it, at least it didn't, like, trash it. Especially if you spent really good money on it. I've been pretty fortunate. I haven't dropped. I do wear what the hell do they even call it? A strap? It's like a body strap on my camera. So it's actually impossible for my camera to hit the ground unless I hit the ground. And I do change lenses, but very rarely. You know, I don't do too many events and things. If I do, I'm usually got on the 70-200 and it covers everything I need. And I never have to take it off. So I'm totally happy with that. I do have some smaller lenses as well. Like the one that the video you're seeing now is actually from the same camera that took these pictures. It's the D810. I've got the Nikkor 35mm on there right now that you're seeing the video with. I do not run autofocus on it because if you use Nikons, you know how bad their video autofocus is. So it is manually set. And actually I didn't even check it. I hope it's okay. I usually check it when I put it back up there after doing the puppy photos. But I didn't have time today, so I didn't. Then run the D3S mainly. D750 is getting fixed. Yeah, I looked at the D750s, but they're more of an action camera, right? I've never had one, but I'm pretty sure they're more of an action camera, or at least better at it. I got the D810. The D850 had just come out when I got this D810, and I had shot Canon. I wanted to get away from Canon for my own reasons. And when I was researching them, the D850 had just come out. It was really expensive. But the D810, I tell you, I have not shot with a lot of cameras. I have looked at a lot of damn pictures, though, from a lot of different cameras. And in my opinion, for studio quality photography, the D810 is still top shelf. I mean, sure, go buy a Hasselblad if you got that kind of money. But to me, you're not going to see a significant, unless you're shooting, you know, studio photography for Nike or somebody, you don't need that kind of equipment. And this D810, and you can get a D810 fairly inexpensively, it just does a beautiful job. I've had some beautiful pictures come out of that camera. Beautiful, beautiful. They're all right. 6.5 frame. Yeah, I don't know a lot about action photography. I don't do it, obviously, but I've heard it was better at the action stuff. Oh my god! I think I'm just gonna have to butcher this to fix it. Did Gracie move? Yep. Now we got her butt in the shot. I don't have her bed in here, so she doesn't quite know where to lay. There we go. But yeah, for me and the cost difference and everything, and everything that I had looked at, and I'm a research idiot when it comes to buying things, I went with the D810, and I have not regretted it one bit. The only thing I would like to try is I would like to try some of Sony's mirrorless. I'm not sold on Nikon's mirrorless yet, but some of Sony's mirrorless, I've thought about renting one just to try it out. because not having to carry around 7 pounds of camera would be nice, for one. And having that, you know, kind of that WYSIWYG viewport, I think would be an interesting thing as well, especially if you're trying to do some more creative type of photography. I think that could be a really great tool to have. The battery, is it? Battery in this D810, man, it'll go quite a long time on photos. For videos, I use a constant power source when I'm doing the video like this, so I don't know what it would do. I'm probably not that great. But, you know, Nikon's never, at least as far as the D810 is concerned, never claimed to be a great video camera. It only that it does it, and I think that was mostly for marketing reasons. Pull his eyes up a little bit. There we go. And the next one. Again, you might get a little bit of a hiccup as this does this. Ugh. You'd be lucky if you get 300 to 400 shots. Well, I mean, to me, that doesn't seem that terrible. I mean, as easy as batteries are to have around, that's still quite a few shots. I mean, I guess if you're doing like weddings or big events, that could probably be a much bigger deal. To me, in my photography, I think that would still be plenty for me. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I can see where it might be for some people, depending on what they do. I'm just kind of cheating this around here, cleaning up a little. Plus, you need to have the camera on to frame rather than just raising it up with the camera off. Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been into... I've been in photography for a long ass time, but as far as having good equipment, I haven't had that long. I did have a Canon, the Rebel series, like the consumer series, the T2i, I think it's called the 550D or some shit like that, they called it as well. I had that. I used that forever. Did a lot of photography on that. Less expensive lenses. I was never, staggered by the photos from it. Didn't really know why, other than the fact I didn't spend a bunch of money on it. And then after I decided that I wanted to do this because I got asked to do it so much that I wanted to get a better camera for it, do it more professionally, get into the commercial end of it, which I have. I decided to go with the Nikon, and night and day difference. There's a huge difference, which I know I don't have to tell you guys, but there's a huge difference between spending $800 to $1,200 on a camera setup and 20 grand, which is about what I put in all my camera and studio equipment. When I first started it up, I put more in it since, but makes a big difference. But there's nothing wrong. You got to start somewhere. You gotta get there. But I have loved it. The Nikon has not done me wrong so far. Now, I haven't tried the D850. To me, and for what I shoot, I'm primarily a studio photographer. I don't do much. I do the puppies out on basically on the shelters right behind those. You can kind of see the wall through there. So I do these. Every now and then I get a request to do some outdoor shots down at the park by the river. But I don't typically do that. I typically refer that stuff out. Because it's, I mean, yeah, it's nice and it's pretty. It's just not my thing. My thing is studio work. That's what I love doing. 850 is a tank, is it? I bet. It looks nice. I really think, actually, that's why I'm half afraid to rent it. I'm afraid if I did, I would want it, and then, well, you know, on goes the cycle. But, yeah, it's, man, that's a big investment. Maybe when the big city gets a little bit closer to me, so more of the commercial clients, or I can get more commercial business, it might make sense to do something like that. But right now, I just don't do enough for me to justify a toy, because that would be a toy, because my Nikon does everything that I need. Yeah, welcome back, Poggers. But yeah, the 7200, this Tamron 7200 has been a godsend. I cannot, I mean, it's not sponsored. I paid full retail price for that damn thing. But oh my gosh, what I paid for that thing. I don't remember how much it was now. It wasn't super cheap. Best money I ever spent in that. I have, right now, it's holding down my camera. My camera that's on the dogs. Here's my 85mm Sigma that was also stupid expensive. I think I've used it. I could count on two hands how many times I've used it. I don't care for it. I don't need it. It's a 1.8. I need to just sell it. I don't use it. I thought it would be cool to have and to use for some stuff. And I am glad I got it because it taught me what I didn't like about it. I don't need it. The photos are amazingly sharp. I mean, if you need a stupid sharp picture, that Sigma 85 is mind-blowing. It's sharper than the 7200. But I don't need that, and nothing I have done requires that level of detail. So, yeah, it's the art. Yeah, it's an amazing lens. I don't need it. I don't need it. I haven't used it. I'll keep it. It'll probably fall apart, probably holding that camera. But, because I'm a bit of a pack rat. I don't really sell things because I'm one of those people who is afraid that if I do, then I'll want it for something. 24-120. I'm not familiar with those. I use all mine, except for my 7200, all my lenses are primes. I don't do zoom lenses very often. Very rarely. I was even skeptical when I got the 7200, which actually probably goes to show how I should probably try some others, because this 7200 is super, super good. Again, you compromise a little bit of sharpness for that focal range. But unless you're doing huge print ads and you need that kind of sharpness, you never really notice. What, sweetie? It is dinner time, isn't it? Yeah. Who knows when it's dinner time? Alright, I'm going to step away for a minute. I'm going to see if Rain is out or not, or if she's in her kennel. If she's not out, I'm going to let Grace out because she wants to go pester Mom so she can get some dinner. So, thanks for hanging out, guys. I really do appreciate it. But give me 1 minute here, just a few minutes. I'll be right back.
From places I've never been, in colors I've never seen, colors that I've never seen. Colors that I've never seen.
All right, got that taken care of. She's not in here now. Kill that cam. But yeah, it's, and even of those lenses, I don't use too many very often. I use the 35mm mostly for the video, like you're seeing now. I do use the 50mm quite a bit for more of the wider range architectural, or if I like textures, if I want to see textures on things or something like that, I usually shoot around the 50mm. And then if I do like, I don't know, I took pictures like project I was doing in my backyard, putting fencing in and stuff, I'll use like my 24. And that's pretty much it. That's my diversity in lenses. That's what I use. But none of them have done me wrong, so. And we did finish that last one. Which one of those? Those are just about the same damn picture. I wonder if we should edit a different one. I think I'm going to. I hate where that leash is, though. I like this shot. That leash is going to be a pain in the ass to get out of there, though, because of where it is. Pace settings. Car crash you got on stream? That sounds scary. Take that one off from rating. Auto that. I really like that shot. Super sharp. Love the depth of field. Pull a little bit of the yellow out and a little bit of the green. Per usual. Little hiccup. More annoyed it happened while I was having pizza. Your pizza end up getting cold on you? So what, you were like, how did that happen while you were streaming? Were you streaming like from your phone or something? Or like, how does that work? Or did it happen like outside your home? This is probably not gonna, I didn't think it would. I knew this was gonna be a pain in the ass. I knew it. I was at home, then I got a call. Oh, okay. I gotcha. So you went specifically for that reason. And if I understand correctly. Yep, okay. Now it makes sense. I mean, I have seen video stuff on YouTube where people are just randomly videoing something and something like that would happen. Just randomly. Never good. That'll work. also meant to, I did get a few, I think I was telling you this the other day. I did get some photos while I was in Mexico. Not very many. You know, when originally I had planned to do a lot of photos there. But once I got there, man, all I wanted to do was chill. And I do so much with photography that, you know, I do enjoy it, but it's still a lot like work. And I just didn't want to. I did still get some images. Not a ton, but I did get some. I was going to show some of them on stream, but I'd have to go hunt them up again. But remind me at some point to do that. It was just, man. I hated the trip there and I hated the trip back, but being there, man. We were down at Riviera Maya for a week, and there was so much cool stuff there. We really enjoyed ourselves, and we stayed at an all-inclusive, fancy schmancy place. My sister's part of some club, I don't know, but I mean, everything was already paid for, dinners, drinks, everything, and they just waited on you hand and foot for a week. It was amazing that we just chilled. We lay down on the beach and we just had a really good time. So I didn't get a ton of photos. That works. Not moving very fast on this editing. I probably need to step the pace up a little bit because it's dinner time. My belly's hungry. Be buying a, what does that say? Sorry, when they redid OBS, they screwed up my fonts on the chat thing, and it's super small, and I'm old, so that doesn't help. Level 4 armor. I don't know what that is. Try about getting the scenes. The place we stayed, it was almost like a small town, but it's all gated. Like, people, you have to show credentials to even get in and out of it. Top level ballistic. I don't, for around there, I don't think that was a problem. That place, they rely too much on tourism for it to be a crazy place, at least around there where I was. But it was, I mean, they got some nice weather. Some really cool stuff to see if you're not, of course, from there. It's the first time I've been out of the country. I'm not one to leave the country. I like it right here in the States myself. Not that I'm some big freak on the United States. I'm just comfortable here. I know all the rules here. I know the laws here. I know where to go, where not to go, blah, blah, blah. In other countries, I don't. And that's, you know, for me and my personality, that makes me very anxious. But my wife has wanted to go for a long time. We've been married 17 years. So she wanted to go, I agreed to go, and we went. And she had a great time. I had a good time. Again, the trip there and the trip back absolutely sucked. But being there was fantastic. If I could go there again without the hassles that we went through from the going there and back, I would certainly do it again. But I don't know if I'd do it. I don't know if I can do it again. Just for the sake of, again, all the shit we went through customs and immigration. Immigration in Mexico was so ridiculous. We stood in line for 2.5 hours just in immigration. That doesn't include customs or getting our luggage or anything like that. It was absurd. Absolutely absurd. Super, super sharp. I mean, this image is already cropped to hell. This is handheld too. That's right there is pixel level. I can see pixels. don't know what that. This is at 200 millimeters as well, so this is zoomed all the way out. 5.6 at 1/500th on that one. And again, to not clip those whites. I actually saved the blacks as well. Lost a few, but nothing noticeable. That's not how I wanted to do that. This is how I wanted to do it. Here's one. But yeah, it's really good. I know Empowers, you had mentioned, if you're still here by the way, you had mentioned about kind of trying to do something like this for your shelters. I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. I mean, you don't have to go, like I go pretty far with these. The other photography team, they don't remove leashes and all that, which is fine. I just do because I prefer it. You don't have to do all that. As a matter of fact, you don't even really have to edit them. They'd be, if your shelters or rescues around there are anything like ours, they come in, the staff gets their phone out in some horrible hallway somewhere with terrible light and goes click, and that's what they get for a picture. Not very good marketing photos. But it's really good practice, if nothing else. Not just for lighting and situation, but also for weather and working with animals and working with other commercial entities and all kinds of stuff. You can learn a lot from it. I actually, I ended up working part-time for the county because I volunteered at this shelter. Which is kind of ironic. I don't do what I volunteer for because you can't do that with the county. But I became really good friends with the director at the animal services, and they had mentioned and they were wanting the help, and I was looking for something to fill some time, so that's what I did. It's also good for marketing yourself as a photographer. A few hours a week. Oh, come on, I did edit that. There it went. It didn't go twice, did it? No. But it's really easy to do. It takes a few hours a week. Well, if you don't stream it like I do. When I don't stream it, I probably invest 4-ish hours, 4 to 6, depending on how many dogs we had to photograph. That's about how much time I put into it, and that's doing around 7 to 10 dogs. 3 shots each. 3 finished shots each, that is. But it's a great cause. And that's not what I wanted to do. Could not recommend it enough. So win-win. Everybody wins. That back on top. I did uprank those, right? I did. Alright, this little doll. And that's cropped heavy. Yeah, I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish there wasn't a need for it, let me put it that way. That would be awesome. There was no need to do pictures because there weren't enough animals to do pictures of. That would be amazing. But I don't see that anytime soon. But it's really easy to get into. It generally just involves getting a hold of your shelter or rescue and telling them what you want to do for them at no charge. And I don't think they'll complain. They'd probably be ecstatic. Don't like that. Don't know really what else I'm gonna do about it without going crazy on the edits. Of course, Sunday is laundry day, so you get to hear the dryer go off from time to time. Man, I just don't like anything that's happening here. I don't like how the fur's sticking out. It's doing that because of that leash was pinching, you know, kind of squeezing the fur, so it was popping out. But that leaf there, I just don't want to edit it because I think it'd just look worse. So we're gonna leave it. Just gonna leave it. And that's his face shot. This was, I think, a personality shot. I think that's what this one was. Sorry, Empower. I just noticed you said Sigma has a 7200. I don't know. I think at the time I got the Tamron, they did not. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how well that one performs. I would assume since it's Sigma, it does great. But like I said, this Tamron has done me no foul. So my only gripe about the 7200 is where the switches are on the lens barrel. That drives me nuts. That drives me insane, as a matter of fact. Every time I lift that camera up, I have to check the switches because they'll bump my leg and I'll flip them. I don't know who designed that or who thought that was a good idea to put them there, but they did. Or not do something to keep that from happening anyway. Maybe recess the buttons or the switches. That would have been nice. Did we not? Okay, I was gonna say, did we not have a third shot? It would just happen to be the last photo. Oh my goodness. Up too late, got up too early. God, I love this healing brush. Remember long ago when we didn't have such tools, and doing edits like this was a nightmare. Now it's just swipe over it. Done. And I get baffled sometimes, and I've watched some educators and stuff on YouTube or wherever say something about it too. It's like, well, always shoot for the shot and do, make sure you shoot so you do as little editing as possible. I mean, that's all great, and it's great advice, But people take that shit a little too seriously, I think. Oh, well, if you've got to edit this or do that, or you use this or Photoshop or whatever, you're not really taking pictures. You're just making digital art. Shut the hell up. Unless you're riding a horse to work, I don't want to hear it. That's what the tools are for. They're there to save you time and to make a job easier. That's why they are there and what they are developed for. I just think that's hilarious when people talk like that. And besides that, it's photography. So it's art. Any way you slice it, it's what it is. We're not lagging too bad today when we do switch. Last week, man, I don't know what was going on, but man, last week when we were switching, it was just crazy. Actually, I do think I know what happened. I had a website. There was a website I was looking at that week or that few days, because I rarely reset my computer unless I need to, like I need to restart it now for my antivirus. And I had been looking at a website, and that website had some script on it that was a memory leak. It wasn't bad, it wasn't mischievous, it was just bad programming. It had a memory leak on it. So my memory was almost full from this leak. And so I finally figured it out and restarted, and it's been pretty good ever since. Because this machine, I built it for the Rift, which I have an Oculus Rift sitting there. And it's not that old. And I can't imagine that running. I mean, I'm encoding the stream with the NVENC on the card, so that's not even using the GPU. OBS uses 400 megs, I think, or so memory to run. So other than that, it should be great. I shouldn't have a big problem with it. So it started kind of frustrating me when it was lagging really bad. Not much. All right there. Up that one. 2. Not the biggest fan of this picture, but it's really one of the better ones we have as far as a face shot goes. And it's the flash that usually gets them. To get a constant light that would overpower the sun, you're going to spend a crap ton of money. And it's honestly more money than I'd want standing on the ground in an animal shelter where people and animals are running everywhere. You have to use flash if you're going to fill light at all. And, you know, it's just me and my wife. My wife's handling the dog, so she can't be handling a reflector or anything. So I use a flash to fill, and a lot of them don't like that flash. They see that flash, and that's it. You get one shot with that flash, and after that, they're not looking at you. Not happening. I do have constant. Matter of fact, the 2 of the constant lights that I did buy for photography for studio work, they're lighting the room right now. That's what you're seeing here. They are daylight balanced. And this one, I turned it around. It used to be pointed at me, but it was so bright that it would really tighten my pupils down, and it made it hard to see the screen. So I flipped it around, now it's bouncing off the wall. It's a lot easier to see. I don't know how in the hell people do that with that right in their face. It was difficult. And it'd give you a headache too after a while. Make your eyes strain. But yeah, if you have the means of using a constant light, if you're doing animals, more power to you. Man, that's sharp. That's really sharp. 5. And this is why I love 5.6 so much. Because I get, most of the time, I get a super sweet depth of field on these. That is really, you know, I've shot all over the place on apertures for these dogs. And 5.6, I always get the best results with. They don't all hit right on, but most of them do really good. I really like them. I think on one of these dogs I did open that up a bit for one reason or another. I don't remember why now. It just seems like I remember doing that today. That tool, I tell you what. We'll fix that bump here in a minute. Just getting rid of some of the lines. Let's see if we can make this blend together in some kind of natural way. There we go. Yeah. Another really sharp picture. Now, if I would have done, I'd have to pull it back up. I'd have to actually find it again. I think in PowerWash, I might have showed it to you. Been many weeks ago now. We were going through some of my studio pictures, and there was one in there. I don't remember which model it was, but I had done a few with the 85 when I was playing around with it, testing it out. And the detail on that was just insane. Isn't really a word that does it justice. It was so good. I'll have to dig it back up sometime. Man, that's a little bit dark on that side. That's a little better. Yeah, it's a little better. Don't like that though. Ew. Big old lines. Now I'll have to fix all that in a minute, I guess. And that's not gonna work either. Well, I didn't do too terribly, but there's some weird spots in there we're gonna have to fix. Just getting rid of some of the patterning and lines on there. And the other tool, using a 40% blend here. So I kind of pull it back together. This I'm going to bump up to 100% and try to pull a rabbit out of my hind end. It's a different color green, so I'm going to have to replace it all, I think. I don't usually get this detailed with this kind of stuff. If I was going to do that, I'd typically have a stylus. I'm using a mouse right now. And let's get rid of those edges. Yeah, it's not the greatest, but for quick edit, it works. Oh, come on. Doesn't play well with hotkeys either, apparently. There's two. Oh. Why did that switch to that? I think I just flat out clicked the wrong one. Man, I thought hard about that. Just trying to put this together so it's believable. That's what's important. Because what people don't know when they see it, what they don't know, they don't know. So, I always mention that when it comes to editing, you don't have to edit for perfection. If the person never seen the original, they probably never know it in the first place. Unless it's something very obvious. Like they have glasses and they're not wearing them or something like that. But in general. Alright, there's another one. Move that to the top. Collapse. Did we skip a dog? Apparently. Apparently we did. Really? We skipped Sunny? I could have swore we got... Guess not, because I don't see any edited. Unusable. Eyes closed. Oh. Little soft. Unusable. Well, we just did not get a good face shot. We're gonna have to use that one. It's really the only one we got. And it's gonna be super crop. So this is 1/250 at 5.6 at 82 millimeters on a huge crop. Like we're probably using less than a 64th of this image. And it's still very sharp. You probably couldn't print it. Well, I take that back. You might be able to. Up to maybe an 8x10 or something around there. I don't know if you could print it much bigger than that though. Not at 300 anyway. Try this for the body shot. Not the greatest, but not bad. And I think I have an idea for this one. Not quite what I thought. How about we just do another body shot? Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I don't see much else I like. So we're gonna run with it. Alright, we still need to edit those. Oh my goodness, I should have took a nap. I wish I had time. It's actually a lot bigger than it needed to be, but who's counting, right? Don't know exactly what I'm going to do about that. Actually, I think I have an idea. I think I have an idea. Maybe not. Try smaller pieces here. Still not liking it. It's just all this wrinkled fur. It's a little distracting. It's messy. And it's getting worse by the minute. Let's back it up. Back the truck up. That's all history's got for us. All right. Blending some more of this together. Just don't really like it. But it's a hell of a lot better than it was. Maybe. Not really a fan either way. It'll have to do. Really? I don't know where this tool sometimes gets its information. I was talking about a little bitty dot, and it turned it into a mess. Yep, lighten the eyes up a little bit. Number 3. Not the greatest one either. What the hell is that doing? I don't even think it knows. There we go. Not a very sharp one. Oops. Alright, number 8 or 7. I think it's number 7. Cooper. I knew that was going to do something tragic with his lip. I should have done this in pieces. Because if there's one thing I have learned is that the healing tool loves lips. It loves, just like here, I would be surprised. It wouldn't surprise me if it pulls a lip down here. See what I mean? It loves lips. Be nice. Where it gets the idea to need that, beyond me sometimes. And try to get rid of the rest of this leash. Well, I could have done worse, I guess. That works. I haven't done any studio stuff in a while. I've been so busy with everything else, and I need to do something. I've got a supposed to have a project coming up for video, actually. I don't know. I haven't got the proposal back yet, so what the yay or nay or when. making the worse and worse. But that should be different. I haven't done that kind of that level. I say that level video before. We've done lots of video marketing campaigns at the company I used to work for. But I wasn't in the AV department, so I had a hand in them because I was creative director, but I didn't do them. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I still don't really like that, but I'm not sure what the hell else I'm gonna do with it. Not make it worse, please. Because there is this stalk running so close to it. It's just a wreck. It just looks weird. You know? We're gonna make it work. Even if we have to fake the crap out of it. Which we already kinda are. Already kinda are. Still not the biggest fan, but if I dwell on it, we'll be here for hours. And it's unnecessary. Let's put it that way. Okay, so I just got the face shot left. I really need a longer boom stand. I have to sit forward in my chair because if I sit back here, then I sound like shit. So I need the boom to be, 3 inches longer. Right now it's hooked on the back of my desk because there really isn't another place to put it. And it's stretched completely out. But it's what I get for not getting the Rode boom. Instead, I opted for the one that was $30 cheaper, thinking it would be just as good. I was an idiot. But you get what you pay for, right? Or at least you should get what you pay for. Sometimes you pay for more than what you get. Just smoothing out some of these weird texture issues. Two more. This poor girl. She was not well taken care of. Makes me angry. Makes me not happy. It's taking a minute to chew on that. We threw a lot at it. I shouldn't have done such a big swipe, but it did alright. And it usually does, which is why I did it. I say usually, it probably hoses that up 10% of the time. So, still very good odds. Don't need to do anything with her eyes, they're already nice and bright. To work with that, that's a little weird. I don't like any of that. That's good. Three. Sharpen those a little bit since she was so antsy. And this little cutie, such a doll, and so sweet. I really do like this picture. I really do. I should go through and turn a lot of these into stock photography. That's what I should do. But I have so many. I have thousands of dog pictures. Thousands. I don't know how many dogs I photographed, but it's a lot. %.
I still remember how it used to be, holding hands, running wild and free. Crossed our hearts, said we never let.
Welcome back. What a doll. So cute. Too bad he's so young. Love the color, love the light, love the picture. It's just beautiful. Beautiful puppy. One more of this puppy. Actually, there's one more picture. And then I get to go eat. Because I'm hungry. I'm getting hangry. That heel brush, man. Love it. I am gonna lighten up all of this right here though. And we'll pull these eyes up. And I'm gonna go for the shadows. And we're gonna lighten this up a little bit as well. A little darker than I wanted it. And that was our last puppy. That was Ariel. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 puppies this week that we got through and got pictures of. And from here, I just basically, I export them all to JPEGs. I take one of those JPEGs and I put their name over the top of it. And I put that in the package as well. And I send that off to the volunteers and marketers and they use it to promote the animals. But that's going to be it for the puppy stream this week. You know, we're getting a little more efficient at it, a little better at it. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We will be picking the stream back up in about an hour and 20 minutes, probably around 7 p.m. Central. But it'll be game time then. So we'll be moving from photos to game time. But, you know, join us then. Always hit the follow button if you'd like. You can stay up to date with things going on with me if something comes up. I don't use it super often, but if something comes up, you can always catch me over there on the Twitterverse for things that are going on. Make sure you hit a follow over there. But really enjoyed it today, guys. Really do appreciate it. I appreciate you hanging out. chatting with me, all that good stuff. So if you'd like, catch me here in a little bit, a couple hours, hour and 20 minutes, and we'll do some gaming and whatnot. If not, catch you next Sunday. All right. Thanks, guys.